Welcome to Plot Twisters.
This is a podcast where we take movies and twist the plot to see if we can make them better, and if not, more built.
At the moment, we're talking about teen movies from the 80s.
On this episode, 16 Candles from 1984.
I'm Emma, and I don't think I'll be able to sleep if I don't feel this little talk has helped you. So, would you be a sport and lie to me?
I'm Anders, and fresh breath is a priority in my life. It really is.
I knew you were going to pick that quote. The second I heard it, I was like, yep, that's the one.
Is that because you've seen my mint stash?
It's just very you. It has very you energy. I don't know why. I just knew it was going to be you.
So the quote about mints and fresh breath being a good thing has me energy, and the quote about parents insisting that their children express appreciation for their impact in their life, that is very you energy.
Yeah, or just please make me feel better about myself. Is very me. God, those parents they did really make things all about themselves, didn't they? Goodness me.
Totally. Well, that really cheesy scene at the end that the dad was saying, "I'm sorry." It was pretty.
But also the mum was like, I forgot your birthday. I feel really awful. And then Molly Ringwald's like, "Oh, don't feel bad." I was like, "Wow, I'm making it about you."
Did you hear the mom go, "I know your birthday's really important to you"? Not to me.
It's to you, specifically you. You are the person who likes birthdays. Nobody else. It's not common. It's not a usual thing.
No.
We are, of course, talking about the 1984 classic 16 Candles. Anders, what happened in this movie?
Oh my goodness.
Tell me all about it.
All right. 16 Candles, starring Molly Ringwald. Although I will say I can't hear her name without thinking of the hilarious parody where it's like a dog and they call him Molly Ringworm. You know that thing? That's what jokes do.
Yeah.
So this movie stars Molly Ringwald as Samantha, who is, you guessed it, just turned 16.
Because of the candles, like a birthday cake.
If you don't know how old she is, count the candles. There's 16 of them.
This is around the time where you still have candles that are the right number on your cake, and pretty fairly soon after this, people go, probably 3 or 4 is fine.
We always did that thing where it's like, if it was 16, it'd be like 1 candle on one side of the cake, and then 6 bunched together at the other side, because we didn't have a 6 or 2 or a lot of candles. But we remembered our birthdays. Take that, Samantha's dad and mom. So that's the thing. She turned 16, and her family they forgot that it's her birthday, which is a real drag. But it tells us a lot about this character because she feels like nobody sees her or notices her. And so, of course, everybody forgot my birthday. The reason they forgot their birthday, though, is Samantha's sister is getting married the next day. Her sister, Caroline, is that her name?
Yeah, sure.
It doesn't matter. Her sister, who we barely see in this movie, is getting married the next day. So the whole family's all sort of like, there's grandparents staying in the house and there's a lot going on. So, okay, sorry, Samantha, we forgot your birthday. Samantha is deeply in love with, but doesn't know how to talk to, the senior boy, Jake. And yeah, she's just sort of like unsure of herself and loves this boy, but doesn't know how to communicate to him. And it's all not going super great for Samantha. Meanwhile, you got Jake, who's the richest kid in the world, who lives in a mansion that has a wine cellar and a Rolls Royce and stuff. But, and he's like the jock and like the prom king, and, everybody loves him, but he's not really that happy. We never find out why, other than he just sort of isn't happy in his life and is a bit bored. So he decides to pursue Samantha. The big bit in the film is this crazy party after, you guessed it, the prom. I felt really comfortable because we were at a prom, right? That's a safe space for us. They go to this big party at Jake's house that he didn't want to have, but his girlfriend wanted to have. And it goes from a couple of friends coming over to they literally destroy the house and all of their possessions. And it's insane. And if you know me at all, you know that I'm a little bit of, I like things to be tidy. This part of the film for me was really difficult to watch. I know this is the recap, but I just have to say this part was hard for me to watch.
Genuinely hard for you to watch.
Genuinely made me feel bad.
Oh my goodness.
Because let me tell you the things that they got put pizza on a very expensive turntable. They were just throwing stuff everywhere. One of the girls snaps a pearl necklace, and there's pearls going everywhere, and they collected them in a beer can, right? Which was, they'd be wet with the beer, and it's all bad. Long Duck Dong and his girlfriend are upstairs making out on fitness equipment, and then then she drops a bunch of weights that go through the ceiling, so that's some structural damage, then through another floor into a wine cellar, and it destroys all the wine. And the whole time I'm thinking, hey, Jake, don't you care at all that your house is being trashed? Nope, because you're all hung up on a girl that you've never spoken to. Anyway, back to the recap. So the party's crazy. Everybody leaves, and then Jake has a heart-to-heart with the geek. The geek drives Jake's girlfriend home, and something problematic happens, and then Jake goes to find Samantha, and then he finds Samantha at the wedding, at Sam's sister's wedding, and then he says, "Do you want to go out? Happy birthday!" And then she says, "Oh, I didn't even know you know who I am. I love you. I love you, Jake." And they go back to his house, and they sit on a dining room table, and he gives her a birthday cake. It says happy birthday, even though her birthday was the day before. And that's what happens. And there's 16 candles on that cake, because the movie's called 16 Candles. 16 Candles, the movie. That's what happened.
And it's all fine because she gets the boy. So even though her family have neglected her, it's fine in the end.
It's all fine. Everything's fine in the end. If you're thinking it wasn't fine, did you see when they were on the table? Because everything was fine. That actually also stressed me out as well. Don't sit on two fully grown humans should not sit on a dining room table. I don't care if it's a really high quality piece of furniture. It might break. I'm also cool in other ways, I'm just because I care about tidiness doesn't mean I'm still not wicked bad. I know how to party. I know how to party. You don't know that I don't know how to party.
Did you ever go to a party where the house got trashed?
Not like that. Not even close. I think maybe one time I went to a party where somebody accidentally broke a window.
Yeah.
But it was an accident and they apologized. But no, I've never been to a party like that. Have you been to a party like that?
Kind of. I've been to one where it got pretty messy, but yeah. I mean, not trash. That's not really. Well, I don't know. UK parties, I think teen parties are generally pretty wild.
Oi.
Exactly. So there was something interesting about this film, which I think is relevant to things that we've discussed in the past, specifically about movies that you generally tend to like, but you didn't know why you like them, if you catch my drift.
Because this was close time-ish?
Yeah. Well, not quite
over
close.
a day and a half.
Yeah, it's not real time, but it's a short time limit, so it's like a snapshot in time kind of thing, right?
Which are movies that you tend not to like, right? and I believe this is the kind of movie that remember when we watched what's that one with the moon tower?
Dazed and Confused. All
right. And I'm pretty sure what you said was, why do I want to watch a movie that's just set in one night that features a bunch of kids doing nothing and just dicking around?
But this isn't that. This is
no, it's not
a movie that takes place over a short space of time in which loads of stuff happens and the kids do loads of things.
so much. That's true. They did accomplish quite a lot.
Yeah.
In that 36 hours.
There's a wedding. There's a party. There's a dance. Goodness, prom. No.
I think it was she was the prom queen.
She was the prom queen. Yeah, it was prom.
Right?
Yeah. They called it the New Faces Dance, didn't they?
Yeah, what was that about?
Yeah.
Was it like another dance after prom, maybe? Somehow?
Yeah. I'm maybe gonna give in podcast context, I did watch this film and Pretty in Pink next to each other, so if I get confused between the two.
That's dangerous. Don't do that.
Well, I just wanted to keep going, you know? I was
First
enjoying
of all,
myself.
80s movies are heavy at times, okay? And there's a lot going on. You need to pace yourself.
I know.
Okay? Don't do two at the same
I
time.
know.
And second, you know, it's like that thing. You remember in that episode of The Simpsons
Yeah.
where Bart and the Fly got in that thing together?
Oh,
the transporter, and he turned into a half bug, half fly.
I like
I'm
the-
actually saying it. I'm pretty sure that's a parody of the movie The Fly.
I was going to say, I like how you say it's like that Simpsons episode, you know, the one that's a parody of that movie, rather than just saying, you know, that movie. Jeff Goldblum, The Fly.
All my cultural references come from The Simpsons. You know that.
Yeah, I do know that.
But my point is, don't you mix them together, and it, you know, you'll get
Cross the
confused. If you start
streams.
talking about Ducky, all right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave because
Okay.
he's not in this movie.
No.
Not yet.
16 Candles.
It's the geek.
Molly
16
Ringwald.
Candles.
Anthony Michael.
John Cusack.
Justin
Joan
Henry.
Cusack. Lots of
Two
racism.
Cusacks.
You know,
Yeah.
16 Candles.
Let's. Yeah. I guess before we go into like opinions and thoughts and feelings, should we just dive right in with that? The whole...
Yeah. Do you want me to play a gong sound?
Oh God. Oh,
'Cause I will.
God. Oh God.
Because I will.
It was so bad. Okay, listeners, the film 16 Candles. I have very fond memories of it from my youth.
So do I.
You probably do as well. Yeah, Anders
I do.
does. This film is super racist.
Like really freaking
Super racist. It's one of those moments where, and I guess this is, I suppose this is more. I've had this experience less on this podcast than you maybe have, but it's one of those moments where you look back and you go, if I didn't notice this at the time, that is really showing my like privilege and the sheltered life that I lived as a younger person, because holy moly, it's incredibly bad and prominent, and I can't believe I didn't remember it, and I feel bad for not remembering it.
Yeah, but it's a bit like, you know, I mean, this happens, and you know, we're moving forward, we're growing, we're learning, we're questioning, and then listening to the answers and just trying to evolve as
Yeah.
best we can. And by we, I mean society.
Most of
but
society.
Also, yeah, most, yeah,
Some of them are not doing that.
not so much. Some people might watch this and go, hey, that wasn't problematic at all. And if you've watched this movie recently and you think, it was fine, everything's fine, totally fine, you're bad. So get better, right?
I don't know, because I'm not one of those people, but I suspect it's not that they go, oh, this isn't problematic, everything's fine. It's more that it's almost like indulging in something naughty. I've often noticed from the far right that, you know, it's the people who say like, oh, you can't say anything anymore, and then you're like, but what is it that you do want to say? And it's like, well, I can't say anything. It's like, yeah, okay, well, say what you want to say, because clearly you want to say something really bad.
Yes, totally.
But it's almost like, ooh, I'm getting away, I'm laughing at this naughty joke, and ooh, but they know it's bad, but they feel power in laughing at it rather than cringing from it.
Yeah, totally. Which is, that's bad. That's
It is
bad.
This is bad. It's bad. It's just, yeah. In this film, there is a character called Long Duck Dong, played by Gede Watanabe.
Hey, pretty
who is-
girlfriend.
Who is
That
from
guy?
Utah, by the way. And
Oh no, that makes it worse.
I'm not going to comment on like his involvement in it, because I don't really fully know what like his national background is, but I
Sure.
will say from the writing perspective, certainly it's like there's a lot of jokes. There's this whole thing about playing a gong every time that he appears on screen
Every
or is
time.
mentioned. There's
Mhm.
loads of jokes which are like about his name, about cultural stereotypes he's referred to in problematic ways.
Yeah.
It's just really, really tough. And it's, again, I don't know, it's just like, I was thinking about, have you seen Breakfast at Tiffany's?
Yes.
It's like, yeah, in Breakfast at Tiffany's, it's Mickey Rooney plays a character of East Asian descent, and he's a white guy, and it's like ultra just awful, offensive,
Mhm.
just trash, just really ugh. And also, like, I love that film. I absolutely love Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's one of my favorite films. But it's just like, you know, I want to say, like, I wish you could just delete that, but you obviously can't do that because you have to acknowledge the things that were terrible in the past. But it's really, it's
bad.
It's bad. But that's like the 50s, right? This Breakfast at Tiffany's. Oh no, it's 1961. So
Yeah.
like, I was almost thinking about, I mean, that's 22 years before this. How much is, like, nothing's changed in terms
Nothing
of
has
representation of people of color in that time, and like, yeah, I don't know. This is like ultra PC coming back and going, they should have known better, but I don't know.
I don't know. I find it hard to believe anyone, a young person, could watch this movie today for the first time and not be struck
Yeah.
with what is obvious, that when I watched it when I was younger, and maybe by the sounds of it, when you watched it when you were younger, you didn't clock.
I mean, I definitely watched this one when I was pretty young. I would say like early teens.
Right.
I remember having quite fond memories of this film. I don't remember noticing it. That's not to say I didn't, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, so there's that, and there's also
there's
the
more. There's more problematic stuff.
Representation of women, which I suppose I'm almost like I really hope I noticed it, because if I was a 13-year-old watching this film and listening to somebody explain that they could get it anytime they want because their girlfriend was passed out drunk upstairs and they could go and violate her 10 different ways if they wanted to. Because I was a 13-year-old woman, like girl, watching that and didn't think anything of that and didn't think that was unusual, then that's quite troubling.
It's bad. That's really super bad. The references to, the casual references to rape,
consent, women's roles in society. The fact that Caroline is very clearly just marrying someone for like the sake of it, and it's just kind of a joke. You know, it's a joke that it's like, oh, she obviously doesn't love him and he's obviously the worst, but she's just going along with it because, I don't know, she wants to have a wedding or something. Oh, she says, lots of men have loved me. This one's loved me for like 6 months.
6 months.
And it's like, that's not funny, because people do that. Women do that because they get coerced into things and they get,
Yeah, and sometimes they get coerced in giving away a pair of underwear for just a moment.
Yeah.
So that another student friend of hers can say that he has had sex with her. Bad. Also, what a weird. Nobody would. Hey, nobody would ask me, but I wouldn't give my underwear to anybody, right? For any reason, let alone for them to.
Underwear is gross. Like
underwear is gross.
Underwear is gross. Like, I don't. Yeah. Okay. No, let's not go down that route. But
We'll leave it at
that. It's difficult though, isn't it? Because again, we and this is what's going to be so interesting about talking about films from the 80s, and if we ever move on to the 70s, you know, even more so, which is this whole thing of like, it was a different time. But I suppose what I'm thinking about this and what I was reflecting upon whilst watching this film was like, I feel like, at least in my social circle, well, not social circle, that's not what I mean. I mean, my like slice of society that I fit into, people would say, oh, 16 Candles, yeah, I love that film. Oh, it's so sweet. Yeah, it's like a prom-com and it's got Molly Ringwald and she's very cute and, you know, all of this. They wouldn't say, oh, yeah, it's a good film, but it is really racist.
Yeah.
You know? That's just not a thing people say. And I just wonder, why? Is that because young people now just wouldn't ever go near this film, or is it because older people, people who were young when this was, you know, the people who were the right age for this, would they not want to criticize it? I don't know. What do you think? Like,
I think it's because of a number of things. I think that these movies, right, like the ones that we watched in season 1 for me, they hold like 50 gallons of nostalgia, right?
Yeah,
they're dripping with it, and like that's personal nostalgia if you watched it when you were younger, but also just cultural nostalgia. So 16 Candles is famously popular, right?
Yeah,
it's a John Hughes movie. It's got like a really good rating on IMDb and stuff. It's iconic, visually.
Yeah. It's like part of the whole.
Yes.
It's like you think of the 80s. This is one
You
of the
think
things
of this
you would
movie.
think of.
It's just
Yeah.
part of it, right? It's sewn into the fabric of it. The music is great. The visuals are great. Like, it could have been a timeless classic, right?
Yeah.
But it's just riddled with really bad stuff that I think, to your point, when people say, you know, oh, yeah, I love Sixteen Candles, they either haven't seen it in a long time, okay? And so they're just remembering, they've got the remains
Yeah.
of, you know, of a viewing from there,
Rose-tinted
right?
glasses.
Exactly. It's like, you know, time. That's what time does. You remember the highlights and you don't remember the bad bits. When people are like, you know, oh yeah, this amazing trip we took to, you know, choose the city of choice or whatever, right? You know, I remember we went to Paris and we saw the Eiffel Tower and it was beautiful and we danced on the Seine and we ate cheese in the moonlight, you know, or whatever. That's what people do when they go to France, right? You know.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Cheese in the moonlight. They don't remember, like, you know,
The bus ride.
the bus rides or like that one street that they walked down that was actually just littered with garbage. No offense, Paris, but you know, not every street is like, it's a city, right? So some places are gross. The point is, we don't remember the bad bits. We just remember the good bits. So I think people are saying, I love this movie, but they haven't really seen it in a while. It's like when I have met people who will say, my favorite movie is There's Something About Mary. Okay? And I get it. You remember that movie being good.
You remember how you felt the first time you watched it, or you remember how you felt at the time.
Yeah.
You don't remember the film.
But if you watch it now and you still defend it as a perfect thing and don't acknowledge that it's, you know, bad, and I'm talking about all these movies, then you're not really looking at it, right? So just bear that in mind, people.
And I think also, and you see this a lot in like fandom culture, which is that like, if you insult the thing, you're insulting me because I like the thing and the thing is therefore mine. And therefore if you're insulting it, because I was just thinking about, like, you know, you remember the feeling of watching the thing, like Twilight, for example, which is one of our stock examples to go back to. And one day we will watch it and it's going to be
50
amazing.
Shades of Grey, fan fiction.
Well, yeah, you remembered, yeah.
Thanks. Taught me that.
The experience that you have watching Twilight will never, ever be the same as the experience that I had watching Twilight, because I remember how it felt to be a 15-year-old watching it. You know, I remember what I felt like when I watched it, and that's part of the experience of watching it now, is it's that feeling is still there, or rather, I still remember what that feeling was like, and it's part of it. But you'd watch it as
a grown-up
who knows nothing about it and is seeing it for the first time, you know, 10 years after it came out or whatever. So it's a completely different experience. And I mean, I just realized that's kind of what this podcast is all about. Whoa. Hey, look at that.
52 episodes in.
Hey,
Boom.
I get it now. I get it. Should we talk about some of the positives of this? Because, you know, I like to be balanced.
Yeah, sure. Well, all right. What did you like? What were the things that you really liked about it?
I would say, I guess, and I always feel like comfortable saying this, but it's like, apart from all the bad stuff, apart from the racism, apart from the sexism, I do think it is a good film still. Like, I think there are a lot of things about it from a filmmaking perspective that make it work really well. For example, the whole idea that it is Samantha's birthday and it's been forgotten and it's all based around that. I think that works really well. It's a really funny idea for a film. It's a really good idea for a film. Yeah. And there's so much material. You know, it's almost like the same joke again and again and again. There's so much material that comes from the same joke. So I really like that. I like the idea of like the busy family all in the house. Her grandparents are there. They're in her bedroom. They take phone calls from strange men in the middle of the night for her. And like the shot where she's coming up the stairs and you see her grandparents and you kind of, it's great. It's so good, isn't it? And you feel the cringe. Like I think that's what I like about it, is it makes me feel like a 16-year-old watching it, because I totally get all of her awkwardness and all of her cringe. I don't like the romance. I don't think the romance works. I don't think they have any chemistry. No. I think he's a bad dude.
He is a bad dude, and we know nothing about him.
but like overall, it's a fun idea, and I like that.
I think you're right. I think it's a good story, and that's what's cool. I think that Molly Ringwald's good, right? She was still figuring. I think this is one of her earlier movies, so like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
actually, this movie has like, we're gonna do this over time. We'll talk about all the John Hughes of it all, right?
Yeah.
But this one feels a bit like, hey, do you like Wes Anderson movies? Duh, I know you do, right? You ever seen Bottle Rocket?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So like, that was his first movie, and it had
Yeah.
elements that would become Wes Anderson, but it's a far cry from the Grand Budapest Hotel or whatever. And so
Yeah.
I think this one
Figuring out.
he's figuring out. And that
Yeah.
whole chaotic household, right? Did it kind of remind you of Home Alone?
Uh-huh.
Right? And the whole
Yeah, 100%.
and the whole like teen angst and stuff. Did it kind of
Yeah.
remind you of Pretty in Pink? Of course it did. You watched it the same day, right?
Yeah. I think we're going to, like you said, as you just said, literally just said, we are going to go on to other John Hughes films. But I do think that one thing I observed watching it was that I think John Hughes films often have characters that play off each other really well. And I do think that's why The Breakfast Club is, I would say, it's kind of indisputably the best one, right? Surely.
Well, I think so, but like a lot of these movies, I haven't watched them in a while, so I'm gonna hold my review until we watch it.
I feel like if you asked the commoner on the street which of these three movies, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink is the best one, they'd probably say The Breakfast Club.
Yeah. I think so.
And I think again, we haven't watched it yet, so I'll have to review this opinion. You can listen to the episode, or if you're listening to this in the past, go and listen to it right now once we've recorded it. I think that it's because it's an ensemble piece.
Yeah.
It works better. And like with Molly Ringwald, I mean, I think she does this role really well, but I do think she works better when she's amongst other bigger characters, because her character and her style of performance, she does like cringing awkward teen really well. But I think it works better when it's fitted alongside the jock and the nerd and all,
Well,
yeah.
On that point, I'll tell you another thing I really like about this movie: Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah, he's good, isn't he?
But like that character, who by the way doesn't have a name. Okay, his name is Geek.
Oh yeah.
Right? Come on, y'all. He was like third on the call sheet, and he has no name. Right? But he was really funny and really, I love the like spunky sort of like, just going for it freshman who's up there, just like, he's got the gift of gab, but also like, I don't know, he gets away with stuff because he's really good at sort of working around it. And he's punching up above his weight, I guess, is what I'm saying. And a lot of he was like, he's a perfect choice for this character. The character itself was really funny and good, and what he said was really good, and like his physical comedy, it was all really good. He was great in this movie.
I did read somewhere that apparently all Anthony Michael Hall characters are John Hughes' self-inserts in the movies. And like Anthony Michael Hall was he wanted him to play Ducky in Pretty in Pink, which I know we're not talking about, but still, but he turned it down because he didn't want to be typecast.
Actually, good choice, because you would have been, and he was,
and you probably were, yeah.
But also the
Too
guy who played Ducky was way better anyway, so it's all fun.
Yeah. I did think on that note, actually, I felt maybe this is me being a social justice warrior and reading into things too much, but I did feel a little bit like his character was slightly queer coded. Like he was quite camp at points.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, if this was
wait, Anthony Michael Hall in this movie, or Ducky in
well, kind of both actually.
Both, right?
Anthony
both.
Michael Hall in
in this movie.
16 Candles. I wonder if I feel like if this film was made in the like 2005 to 2015 period, right, he would have actually been the gay best friend. And I say up to 2015, before 2005.
That's a really good point. Yes.
Yeah. Before 2005, you couldn't have gay best friends because they didn't have gay people in films. And after 2015, you couldn't have the gay best friend because by then we'd realised it was a nasty trope.
Yes. Yes. But there was a sweet spot for a little while where it was
you
okay.
Have gay best friends. Yeah. Because I don't know why. I think it's almost like he was sort of existing kind of in that role. I mean, we know that there are loads of characters in various films from the past which are queer coded and which are people writing in traits that you would associate with queer people, but without giving them that identity because it wasn't accepted. But the kind of the charisma, some of the kind of affects, like, and the trait to be somebody who is very obsessed with scoring chicks and being, you know, a player and all that, whilst actually just kind of wanting to chat to girls and hang out. I feel like that's stuff that you would see in that trope. So this is my hot take of the episode.
Yeah. Hey, another thing that was really good about this movie, just the soundtrack was banger after banger after banger.
Really good. Yeah, it was really good.
And that's another John Hughes thing. It's like the soundtrack to this movie, every song was like, man, I didn't realize, like it was just great. It was great. And even like, when they're on their way to the wedding, it's a freaking David Bowie song, right?
Yeah.
Really and I was really impressed. It was he used music well in this movie, and maybe that's what leads to the whole like iconic thing of it, right? Because it feels quintessentially of its time. Because of the music and all of it. It's great.
Well, on that note of it being of its time, here's what I'm interested to know. You're an American. You're older than me. We know this.
These are facts.
These are facts.
We don't have to labor the point, but they are facts, yes.
Now, normally I'd be here saying, oh, well, this is a film in the 90s, and you were a teenager in the 90s, and these people are teenagers in the 90s, and you can get them. You get it, because you know it's the same. It's the same. Could you relate to this character, to this experience at all? Did you feel like connected to this character, or was
which one?
Decade thing?
Which one? And probably
let's say Molly Ringwald or whatever her name is.
I don't sort of, but not really. I mean, I think every teenager in the world feels at a time like, oh, nobody likes me and nobody notices me, you know. But on the whole, I think I was a little bit more naively cocky as a child, as a youth. But although having said that, there was one year where my family did forget my birthday, and that's not a joke. That really did happen. So,
what?
Yeah.
No, really?
Yeah, like 14 or 15 or something.
Okay, forget everything else we were talking about. Tell me about that.
Right. Here's what happened, right?
Yeah.
It's not a, I wouldn't write a movie about it. But what happened was.
Because John Hughes already did.
Because he already did, but I didn't know, right? Sometimes things in life happen to me and I think I was the origin story, but it turns out it's already happened.
But
you know
John
what I mean?
Hughes already wrote.
Because John Hughes is it. It's exactly.
That time you got detention and then you and four
Me and four other,
yeah. And danced on the table.
Smoke 'em up, Johnny! I was saying that and then it turned out it had already happened. This is just like when I invented Go-Gurt, and it turned out that was already a thing. But, I was in the sixth grade. What do I know? When I was about 14, I think 14 or 15, yes, for some reason, there was a lot going on in my household and my family. They just done up plumb forgot that it was my birthday. And then here's what I didn't do. I didn't just wait around for everyone to throw me a surprise party or a pity party. I went to school and then I came home, and then at some point I said to my mom, it's my birthday, right? And then
what did she say?
My mom said, today? And then I went, yeah. I mean, that's my memory of it was I was pretty cool about it, but in reality I probably was weeping on the floor and kicking things, but so what? Hey, y'all, the big picture is this. Your birthday's just a day, okay? It marks a chronological thing, but it by no means defines you, or at least it didn't define me. So I don't remember feeling that stressed about the whole situation. But maybe I'm rose-tinted glasses forgetting, the implication. I don't know. I just don't want people to fuss about me. I'm sure if you,
I think it's pretty stressful. I have a lot of trauma associated with my birthday. I always get stressed and sad on my birthday. Because my birthday is December the 20th. So it's right in front of Christmas.
Oh, that's a bummer.
So it is a bummer because, it's just like everyone's always busy. Everyone's always on holiday. Everyone's thinking about other things. It's one of the
Yeah.
shortest days of the year.
Yuck.
So at least
Or
amount
one of the longest
sunlight.
nights. Ah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Right?
now there's that glass half full.
Take that
Again.
of gin, you know?
Ugh.
Party time. My birthday's in February. Nobody's happy in February.
No, that's true. No one is happy in February.
It's cold. It's dark. There's no good stuff going on except for Groundhog's Day, which everybody associates with life just being repeating over and over again until you die.
Yeah.
So that's bad.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Pugsatawny Phil, and also the movie.
Is this becoming a who's got the worst birthday contest all of a sudden?
Your birthday is 5 days before the fun times.
I people in my life give me Christmas cards with happy birthday written on them
That's
every year
all
because
right.
they know how
Yeah,
much
that
it
sucks.
annoys me.
Yeah, that does suck. My birthday's a few days after Valentine's Day, so everybody's used up all their emotions. They got nothing left.
Hey, listeners, write in who has the worst birthday. The point is, it's kind of a good movie. The idea is good. We have fond memories of it, and those memories can't be erased, but they can be edited because this is problematic. And it was a different time. Things have changed, but we need to keep being aware of it and learn about it because you can't do it. We can't do this. People, you can't.
Well said. We can't.
You know?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
We've got to keep going, okay? Always move forward, right? It's, always just keep pointing towards the right direction. Once you know, you know. Don't look back.
Yes.
But do look back just enough to acknowledge that the things in your wake may not be as beautiful and perfect as you thought they were. But don't
No.
stay too long because otherwise you'll what's that thing that Doc Brown said where you could do something and then say hi to your mom and the world will end?
Yeah, just like that. I think
Just
that
like
was the
that.
quote.
Don't
Yeah.
don't say
Don't.
it will create a time wrinkle, and then the wrinkle folds on itself, and then all of a sudden you're a fish, and then the world explodes.
And to summarize, 16 Candles. If you watch it, the world will explode.
Possibly.
Most definitely.
Maybe.
No, for sure. Hey listeners, we are really excited to be in a new decade. Time travel is amazing. We're talking about the 80s, and the great news is we want your suggestions for films we should talk about. Email us at plottwisterspod@gmail.com, and we could be talking about one of your favorite films next.
Hey, so Emma,
That's me.
are you ready to twist this movie?
I am ready. Here's my idea. 17 Candles, the sequel.
She's a little bit older.
The next birthday.
Yeah, but nothing has changed.
No.
And she's still pining for Jake, who quickly decided,
Meh. In what grade would you be in if you were 16?
you'd be like a sophomore.
Sophomore, which is like
Freshman or sophomore, I think, I guess.
so
Sophomore.
college has 4 years, right? Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Nailed it. Same with high school. They did not get creative. Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior.
Okay.
Repeat.
I wonder where those names came from. Let's not get into that now. So
No, let's
No,
get
you
into it.
get
Hang on.
okay.
Just want to get right.
Sophomore, what the heck is that? What is a sophomore?
Well, here's my theory, right? Freshmen, obviously they're fresh.
But
You're a
but
freshman.
you might
Or women.
freshman. Why
You're a freshman.
fresh people? Fresher.
Because you're so fresh. You're off the boat. You're like, high school is going to be great, right? Let's go. Everyone, come on, run. We're going to high school, right? Sophomore is actually, you still are positive, but you've been through the system enough and you've been tenderized, so you're even more soft, right?
Yeah.
Okay?
Sophomore.
Sophomore. You're even more soft.
Right.
Juniors, well, you're at like middle management, right? You're
junior deputies.
Correct.
Yeah.
You're bigger than everybody, but you're not as big as the big bosses. So you still have to ask, whether or not you have jurisdiction. And then seniors, right, are
They're
old, right? Just like that's why they're called seniors.
Cool.
The senior citizens. That's where they got the names for high school names.
Okay. Thanks.
Look it up, nerds. It's on Wikipedia.
So if it was 17 Candles, she would be in her junior year.
Junior year, yep. Mm-hmm.
Now, in your junior year, as we all know, you have to... do you apply for college, or would you just be thinking... I don't know how it works. When do you apply for...
Yeah, I feel like that's what happens. You definitely do like SATs or something. I feel like a junior year, it's like you're trying to figure out about college probably, or whether or not you're just going to drop out and chill. Either way, it's good.
So maybe Samantha is thinking about that, and she is going to go to which college? Don't think about it, just say it. She's going to
Dartmoor.
Cool. Which is in which state?
It's probably the East Coast, like cool. Maine or something.
Now, the fun thing about this is it's one of those sequels where something really ridiculous happens. And
so we are really doing 17 Candles. That's what we're doing here.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
All right, no, I'm into it. I'm so into
it. Do you have a better idea?
No, we're doing 17 Candles. I got nothing.
I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't that committed to it when I said it, but now the more I think about it, the more I'm really into it. It's one of those movies. It's one of those 17 Candles. It's one of those movies where something ridiculous happens, and then the same ridiculous thing happens to the same person in the sequel, like Home Alone.
Oh,
right.
See, that's really smart and something John Hughes would do.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, all right.
So he did it. In the first one, they leave the kid. In the second one, they leave the kid again.
Yeah, and
we
the
did
third
this ridiculous
one,
thing.
I assume they lose the kid the third time. I never saw it.
I don't know.
Home Alone 3, Taking Back the House, never saw it.
Yeah, probably same thing. Because it's like it works the first time, and we can't. It's not like we're expanding the Home Alone universe.
Yeah.
We're not going to think about, well, what's the Mum's Day like? Because the film is called Home Alone.
Story. Right.
He has to be home alone again.
Okay, so 17 Candles. It's her junior year, okay?
Yes.
Everyone's forgot her birthday again.
Again. But why this time? What's going on? What's the event this time?
Okay. I feel like it's the dad's retirement party, right? And he's retiring from the publishing house that he works at, right? Mm-hmm. And he's been working hard to finally retire and he wants to just go fishing, right? So there's a lot of like the cake is shaped like a big fish,
Love
and all of his colleagues are coming and they're putting up a big marquee in the garden. And as a result, you guessed it, once again, Samantha's birthday has been forgotten.
Is the house like full of all the family again, and they're all back?
Yes,
all the good characters are back. Yeah.
Although eagle-eyed viewers will note, and this is a dark little nugget. Apologies, everybody, Life fans out there, but I'm assuming that maybe at this point, because it's been a couple of years, one of the actors who played one of the grandparents has died, and so they've replaced them with somebody else.
Yeah, would they have just replaced him, or would they hang him upside down?
Marty.
I watched Back to the Future.
Marty's dad style. Nice.
Would they? Okay, well, no, because but what we've got now is we've got Caroline, the older sister, her husband, and his family. So there's new potential there for new characters, and you could get some great.
And he's he's let himself go, and maybe they got a couple of kids.
Yeah,
is that fine?
Yeah. Well,
she's miserable.
Potentially one kid because it's been a year, but
twins, and they are a handful.
They are a handful. I want to throw something out there, and I'm gonna say that Samantha is not with whatever his name was
Jake?
Anymore.
No, he graduated and he just left.
He's gone and he's the worst. Now she is with the geek. Pause for dramatic effect. No, I'm doing a really long pause for dramatic effect.
That makes sense,
right? Because they definitely although he's problematic as well. So he would be a sophomore.
Yeah,
right?
I think they're both sophomore. Yeah, he's a sophomore. She's a junior. She's a junior.
She's a junior.
She was a sophomore. Yeah. That's fine.
Okay, it's her birthday. She is still dating Jake, but he's bad, and he forgets her birthday. But the only person who doesn't is the geek.
Yeah, it's the geek. He remembers.
He remembers.
Yeah. Okay.
And she's
I like that.
well, I guess you were nice all along.
So, yeah. And does he? Spoiler alert! Do they end up together at the end?
I think so.
Because I think that would be really good.
Yeah.
And I think that there needs to be another huge raging party.
Yes.
Just like before.
Yes.
And
This time it's at John Cusack's house. He's got cool. He's gotten cool. He's gotten really cool in the
So
year.
cool.
Like
Yeah.
it's one of those things where you come back to visit all these
Yeah.
characters and they've all like changed social circles and everything's kind of gone around.
So, and he's gotten John Cusack's character's gotten really cool. Same with the other nerd.
Yeah.
And because they were both inspired by the year before, but also, I don't know, they just realized that it's pretty easy to get everyone to think you're cool. You just tweak a few things. And now
Or
they're cool.
John Cusack's cool because he got a really cool girlfriend and he's not really cool, but his other geek friend isn't. And it's like, remember when it's kind of sad, isn't it? But it's like, we used to be friends and we used to nerd out together and we don't anymore because
yeah, but that's a bit like
you-
Can't Hardly Wait, right? That's just
Oh,
the
is it?
two guys trapped in the bathroom talking.
Well,
about
that's
their
fine because
feelings,
this film
right?
came first, so it's not copying it.
The
'cause this
sequel
film-
to
this-
sequel to 16 Candles, 17 Candles, which we're
it would
making
come
right
out
now,
in like
chronologically
1984
came
or
out
5.
before Can't Hardly Wait. So I'm into it. That makes
That makes
that-
complete sense.
that makes sense. What if this?
Okay.
What if not only he is cool now, right? Because we know from watching a lot of teen movies, being cool, going from nerd to cool guy, you just have to wear different clothes
really
and take your
easy.
glasses off, right? But what if he's, and this is a very specific thing that in the big picture of the movie doesn't matter, but I'd love to throw it out there.
Yeah.
What if he's become a little bit obsessed with what happened at the party last year and is trying to recreate what happened?
Now
Because he
we're
feels like that
talking.
will unlock his coolness fully.
Now, this is the plot twist, is energy that we
Right,
bring to our
This
work,
is what we do.
to our good
we
work.
hone in on a very specific weird thing, and that's the thing. For example, someone he takes a long time trying to figure out who's going to get their hair caught in the door, and it has to happen, right? Because otherwise, it's not a cool party. That party was
okay.
legendary.
Okay, so here's what it is. It's the 1985 sequel to John Hughes' classic 16 Candles called 17 Candles.
17 Candles.
Which is a self-aware, self-referential vision quest in which one of the characters from the first movie is aware of the events of the first movie and tries to obsessively recreate them with all the people. And it's a
Yeah.
year later and it's 17 Candles and it's John
Yeah.
Cusack and he knows what happened and he wants it to happen again because he loves the film 16 Candles.
So he's from the real world, right? And he somehow, here's what happens. John Cusack's character, he's at the video store and he's renting 16 candles. He says to his friend, turns to his friend and said, "You've never seen 16 Candles?
I was in that
No.
movie because I'm John Cusack.
I'm John Cusack. I was in this movie. I loved this movie. I loved this movie so much. And you know why I love it? That crazy party that happened. And I need to tell you how good it is, and then maybe there's an electrical storm and he's zapped into the movie. He realizes that the only way to get out of it is to exactly recreate that party scene beat for beat.
Yes.
But in the world that is now he's in, it is a year later. Samantha is a year older. Everyone did forget her birthday, and the movie is called 17 Candles. But the real movie is trying to recreate the party.
Is it that, or is it John Cusack is in his 50s and can't get over the memory of this film that he was in that he loved so much? So he calls up all the actors who were in the film and then
Whoa.
forces them to recreate them in some kind of weird fancy dress party.
Right, and Anthony Michael Hall is there, and he's going like, "Where are the cameras?" And he
And
goes,
he goes, "There are no cameras."
"There are no cameras."
So this isn't a film, it's John Cusack's 56th birthday party.
And in John Cusack, who's wealthy, in his mansion, he's recreated the scene from the
And he goes,
party.
Remember this, guys? Remember the scene? Remember the scene?
Remember it? And his
No,
sister
no,
Joan
we're
is
not
there,
acting, just
and
be it, be
he's
it.
forced her to wear the headgear again.
Headgear!
And she's like, yeah, I get it, John. I get it. Oh, watch me drink a soda awkwardly, right? Can we go home now? No, we can't go home. We haven't put the pizza on the record player yet. We haven't put Anthony Michael Hall in the glass box. We haven't seen the Rolls Royce. And where's Long Duck Dong? Long Duck, where are you?
This
Hey,
is
man,
amazing.
I'm here.
Here's what can I just really quickly review
This
the
movie?
episode that we've just recorded together
Fine.
within the
Mid-record.
episode.
Fine. That's
Mid
meta.
record.
That's meta.
What I really liked about it is that we started with a one-liner.
Yep.
We then made that into
A movie.
feasibly a movie that could have been made.
Yeah.
Maybe not a great movie, but it could have been made. Some studio exec could have said, I want the sequel to 16 Candles, 17 Candles, Molly Ringwald Get It Back.
Totally. And then, just real quick, if in the future 17 Candles is made and then we're making a podcast where we watch 17 Candles and then we reference 16 Candles, the episode, and then we were putting in this flippant quote, we told you so, okay? We did it again. And we need to win, and something's wrong. Something's going on in the world. I think we're magic, right? Anyway, continue.
And then it turned into the guy from 16 Candles makes a film about 16 Candles. No, he doesn't make the film. He just recreates the party. And then it became John Cusack is obsessed with his past and can't move on and tries to recreate the films that he was in as a young person.
Yeah. Just in real life with no cameras. And for no purpose other than to satisfy his
His own.
huge ego.
Yeah. So we started with a teen movie and we ended up with an episode of BoJack Horseman. I think we've done
BoJack
well.
would do that. He would do that. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Well, all right.
jeez. This
Nailed
is,
it. Nailed it.
Yeah.
We've
nailed
either
it.
nailed it or we need help.
We've either nailed it or we will. This is the last episode of this podcast.
We've either nailed it or, our friends and family are actually getting more worried by the day about us. They're starting to ask serious questions. But you know what? Don't ask any questions, Mom. This is art, okay?
This is
And by the way,
you wouldn't get it.
You forgot my birthday. So,
So,
who's crazy now? Huh?
yeah, it's not a phase, Mom.
Look at me now, Dad.
Anders.
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 5 candles, how many candles would you rate the movie 16 Candles?
Ooh. Here's what I'm thinking.
What do you think?
There's three lit candles on a table. Okay?
Yep.
And there's another candle. You know those candles that sort of they're flickering on and off, and you're thinking,
Yeah.
oh, it'll go, and then it just kind of goes.
Yep.
That's a long way of saying 3 candles.
Three candles.
Yep.
Okay.
What about you?
I'm gonna potentially get myself cancelled, and I'm gonna say 3.5. But it's so
It's
hard.
pretty good. It's pretty good. It's bad, but good.
This whole system is rubbish because you can't give the full picture and the nuance of the situation because it's a bad movie and it should be cancelled. But at the same time, I really liked it.
This is the best worst movie we've seen in a while, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, 3.5.
All right.
I know how you feel. I understand how you feel about shit like that.
Finally, you're
No,
seeing through
because-
my awkward window where you can't let go of nostalgia, but you have to because it's.
What a plot arc. What
Right.
character development for me within the context of this podcast is just gripping. Um,
I'm winning.
yeah, you are winning. Hey, you are winning, literally.
But we're all really winners here, because we get to dip our toes into the cool waters of the river nostalgia. And we get to bathe in the sunshine of our youth.
Where are you learning all that stuff?
shop class, mechanic shop,
Well.
car club.
Good. That means I get my money's worth. Am I right?
School.
In this
I
scenario,
get it.
I'm your dad. You should have got. Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, you'd be a good my dad, I think.
Yeah, I think I'd be good at that.
Yeah, but listen, when I'm in like the 4th grade and I spill some ink on the carpet, go easy on me, you know?
Well, no, I won't.
Wrong movie.
Don't cross the street. Anyway, thank you for listening to this episode of Plot Twisters.
Leave us a review if you have the time.
See you next time.
Bye. Young Americans, I was a young American, all right.
Was that in this movie? I mean.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Was it? Okay, cool.
Cool.